Welcome to Collectibles.com Unscripted. I'm Blaine and I'm here with Ryan. And today we have Patrick with us, who is a content creator and a collector of apparently a whole lot of things. So, how's it going, Patrick?
Pretty good. I'm really glad to be here, and I can't wait to talk with you guys.
And we are thrilled to have you. So, Ryan, why don't you kick us off here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Patrick, what do you collect?
At the moment, I collect mainly Hot Toys and 112 scale sometimes, but in the past, I did used to collect heavy on Funko Pops, but now it's just all action figures.
Did Funko Pop start your collecting journey then, you'd say, or have you been doing it before then even?
Growing up, I've always been fascinated with figures and toys in general, but there's a period where I didn't have any money. But then the moment I actually have like a good stable job, I got into Funkos back in I think 2016, and then from there it just went up, and I just kept buying a whole bunch of pops left and right.
And it was collecting what you love, and I know you loved it for a long time, but now you're not into Funko anymore. Do you still have any Funko Pops?
I do. I trimmed down a lot. And the only thing that's actually left are my Disney parks and just Stitch. That's the only things I have left. Because honestly, those are like living in California. Just having those representing like the Disney parks is means a lot to me.
No, I hear you. I remember we would both collect Disney Parks exclusives together and help each other out if we needed one.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
you're on the West Coast, I was on the East Coast. Be like, oh, this one's at Disney World, Ryan, go pick
yeah.
me. I'd be like, oh, Pat, this one's in Disneyland, go pick this up for me. So that's very cool. No, yeah, for sure. I have a bunch of my Disney Park stuff, and being a local in Florida, you have to keep it. It's part of that collection that you're never gonna get rid of type thing, whether things go out of style or not.
And meanwhile, I'm in the Northeast, as far as possible from both Disney locations. So, here we go.
That's so true, though. So we talked about how long. What do you collect? How many hot toys are in your collection now? Do you know?
At this point, I stopped counting after 100, and I'm mostly getting something new in, and I stopped like counting them, which kind of sucks because I used to keep tabs on it, but like I said, as so many figures comes in, I just stopped counting them.
It's yeah. I'm somewhere in between 600 to 800, and just my Funko Pops collection, and then I have like 20 or 30 Legos, and maybe like 50 Hot Wheels, and like all sorts of stuff. So no, I totally get that. Absolutely. I think Blaine's probably on the same boat. Blaine, you know how many things you have in your collection?
Define things. I got a lot of different stuff. I mean, my video games, probably a few hundred. For the Funkos, probably maybe 200 or so. Yeah, not that the wall behind me is most of them, which is an odd thing to say, but yeah. But I was gonna say, so for the uninitiated watching, for you, for Hot Toys, is that a brand or is that a particular type of toy? If you want to just give us kind of the Hot Toys 101 real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hot Toys, even though it says it's a toy, it's not really a toy. It's more of like a high end figure, but they are called Hot Toys, and people do gets them mixed up with Sideshow, but they're not owned by Sideshow. Sideshow just distributes from them. Hot Toys is from Hong Kong, and they're really good. They're like a high quality figure. They're more meant to target adult collectors. I've seen a couple kids collect them, but it's mainly for adult collectors due to like the high price point, and they mainly focus on like bigger IPs such as anything that's related to Disney, and sometimes like they do DC and like other IPs like Terminator or
Or even like you have. Well, I mean, Avatar is technically Disney.
Avatar. Yeah, it's Disney, but it's, yeah,
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I
Very
see
cool.
Jake Sully in the background there, kind of keeping you safe.
yeah, but yeah, and they're like 1/6 scale figures, so it's a lot bigger, and depending on the certain characters, like the two behind me, they're pretty tall.
Crazy. So like having such like big figures, how do you have the space for all that?
I do have display cases, but the thing is that I had to sacrifice. I had to get rid of a lot of boxes. I had to trash them. I don't collect boxes. I don't collect plastic shells. I just toss them because I don't need them. I don't want to. I know people keep them for like it's a rainy day. I need to sell them. But honestly, as a collector like me, I try to enjoy the figure more than the potential. resale value will get later in life.
Absolutely. I feel that, you know, especially like you said, space and everything. But I tell you, smashing these boxes and content creation, man, that's crazy. People go nuts for that type of thing. And you go on your page and you see this stuff, and people are like, oh my God, did he just do that? And they're freaking having a meltdown over here. And you're just like, yeah, I mean, I was getting rid of it anyway. So thinking about it, going back to it, it's like, well, I can just make content out of doing something I'm already doing anyway. Why not, right?
Exactly. And I don't blame people. I get it. Like I read the comments, so I'm not pretending I'm not seeing them, but I read them and I get that people are mad and I've read their stories and I've read people's DMs and I get it, but it always comes back to the idea of reselling and the value of it because of a box. But that's what a lot of collectors in this today's community have forgotten about. They just don't enjoy the figure itself anymore. And I that's why I kind of try to push with it. I want people to understand like I'm in it for the figure, not for the box. And I know that people are collect differently, but that's the whole point of us buying these toys is because we never got to have these sort of stuff when we're growing up. So that's
Yeah,
why
no, well said. Well said. Absolutely. No, you know, I have one hot toy. It's, I'm sure you know which one it is. It's a Spider-Man Miles Morales. You know, I was gifted it from a previous, I won't say that. I have one hot toy that I was gifted a while back, and it's Spider-Man Miles Morales. And I absolutely love the figure. I do still have the box for it because I do have so many accessories in just this one figure. I cannot imagine how many accessories you have on hand, not having these boxes. What do you do with all that stuff? You know, because these hot toys come with some big things, small things, little, like, you know, things that can just be broken easily. What do you do with all that stuff?
I actually have a system. I have little storage containers with little dividers in them. They're actually fishing containers that I got from Walmart, and they're about, I think, $4 to $5, and they're pretty good for storing accessories. Obviously, if those accessories are really big, I will keep the box, so I will do that. Like for instance, the Carnage Hot Toys has really big accessories. I will keep that, but other stuff, I just use the storage containers and I use the label maker. So it makes my life so much easier because I could just grab certain things, switch out the accessories, and then get back to my photos and or to my display. So that's what I do with mine. So that's why I kind of figured it out. But obviously, there's still like storage problems because I have to store the accessories too.
Understood.
I'm starting to think Ryan invites people on who don't collect boxes because as you can see behind me, all my Funkos are boxed. Most of my video games are boxed. So it seems to be kind of just a correlation I'm noticing that a lot of the anti-box activists make appearances on the podcast here. But I get it. I understand where you guys are coming from. I do. I just always, I mean, I still take them out and enjoy them. Like all my games are pretty much open but complete in box. You know, so I'll still enjoy them. But I don't know. Something I like about having all the original components to it is something I like.
Yeah.
Which is a nightmare because a lot of early video games had like 12 inserts per thing. So trying to find them all is kind of a hassle, but
Well,
it's
you
fun.
go that far into having like the extra promo codes and the booklets and all that stuff in your cases too, then, huh?
Oh yeah, I with Pokemon Red they had an ad that it looked like a can of Sloppy Joe, but it had like a Nintendo thing on there. That almost never shows up in box like sets that you have these days, but I have two of them in mine. And just finding all those inserts is it's a hassle because there's so many. Because Nintendo was just like, hey, I got this box, I can just shove advertisements in there, and
That's true.
yeah, that's how there were so many in there, and most people were like, whatever, throw them out. So
And now video games don't even have anything in them anymore besides the cartridge or the disc. That's, you know, crazy. That's
I will.
crazy.
I don't have a Switch game handy, but yeah, Switch games are almost entirely empty. The game isn't like this big, and then everything inside is empty. Like,
Yeah, the coolest part about sorry, Pat. The coolest part
Oh,
about
you're
Switch
good.
games, the coolest part about Switch games is like sometimes they'll get clever. Like I think I saw it was like Luigi's Mansion, like the new one they put out for Switch, and on the inside of the cover they had like Luigi like on it, like a photo, and because it's the regular cover, but then you see the inner when you open the box, in the case, and then under it was like the Polterpup, like under the cartridge of the game. So you picked the cartridge out, and there was Polterpup right under it. So I thought that was pretty cool, like Easter eggs and stuff like that. But that's like all you get nowadays when it comes to collecting video games.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for all the inserts, but I'm sorry, Pat, I cut you off after kind of derailed things there.
No, I know you're good.
I had to drop my little box superiority statement, but
No, I was gonna say like I can't disagree with you like how you're collecting because that's just how we all collect it. We collect differently. But for your standpoint, I get it because certain games like those Pokemon ones, like it's straight up nostalgia if you could find like a perfectly mint one because I remember buying those when I was younger and it's just like it's straight up like oh dang straight childhood right
like
there.
this guy.
Exactly. Like those you can't find anymore. I think I refer more to like newer things is like it doesn't it's still new. It's not as nostalgic as like older things. That's what I think people need to get the difference between that.
I understand. No,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying completely. So going off nostalgia, going off of, the cool, big, awesome things, that you do have in your collection, what is a grail figure for you?
I will say anything that my girlfriend gets me is a instant grail. It sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's a big testament and kind of like a thing to me personally as like a way of her supporting me and she likes what's making me happy and she rather contribute to feeding the addiction. So that's why anything that she gives me is a grail. I don't care
So
how old the figure is. Anything she gets me, I love it.
that's cool, man. No, that's awesome. That's great. The value is, sentimental and understandably so. Especially when you have high value products like that. You're like, damn, you could have bought a purse, woman.
That's also true. That's also very true.
So, whether she needed a purse or you needed a figure, she decided she was going to spend your money on you. And that's a grail.
Exactly.
We often say there's no wrong answers to that question, but I think you may have found one of the right answers.
It's so true. Absolutely. Okay, let me see. What do I have? Okay, I asked you your grail figure. So I asked you excuse me. So I asked you your grail figure. What would be your favorite figure in your whole collection?
Hands down, at the moment, it's probably gonna be the Deadpool figure, which recently came out for the Deadpool 3 movie. Just because it came out around the time when the movie came out, and Hot Toys rarely does that. And when they did it and it came in, it's like it felt cool because you have something to match with the movie, and the suit material is so good, and it's honestly it's pretty on point from what you see on screen. And I don't know, just having it just makes me so hype having it.
Very
And to
cool.
piggyback off that, sorry to
No, you're good.
piggyback off that. So, what is the hot toy that you wish you had or you wish they made from any IP? It doesn't matter what it is that they don't currently have. If you could snap your fingers, make one into a toy right now, what would it be?
I say this to everybody that asks me, even though they did it in the past, I've been dying for them to make a Terminator figure again. It doesn't matter what movie it's from, or well, like at least the first two. It has to be from the first two, mainly the second one, but still, like I want an updated Terminator figure. Arnold Schwarzenegger is like my favorite action hero. I don't care what people say about his acting. That guy's the GOAT. I want him like in an action figure format, especially in a Hot Toys. And I'm just waiting for them to make it.
So, are you telling me you don't want the Lady Terminator from Terminator 3?
I mean, I'll take her, but I mean, like, I'll take her. I still will take Arnold over her, but still, I would get her for research purposes and content creating, but still, you get my point.
It could also be the Arnold that had the star sunglasses from that movie, too.
Honestly, I would take that if they did that. Like, as an accessory, I will still take him.
Okay, there you go. Big Arnold fan. You can make a wide berth for some of the creative choices they made.
Exactly.
Good to hear.
What was I going to say? But yeah, so going off of that, you said, you take the Lady Terminator for like a certain session or photo or whatever. Are there figures that you actually buy just for a photo session, or do you like borrow somebody's figures How does that work for you?
Yeah, so I know hot toys are expensive, and yeah, I can't deny that I actually do buy certain figures for content reasons, and but recently I recently bought the brown suit Wolverine figure from the new branch from Hot Toys, which is their Hano Studios. And I honestly bought it for content reasons. I was never into like the whole comic thing. I wanted more like live action kind of characters. But I did fall in love with the figure, but I cannot deny I bought it for content reasons. And behold, I was like, oh man, I love this figure. It's actually really good. And it's nice. It's nice to get something that you actually end up not knowing you'd want in the long run.
Shit. No, I got you. Yeah. No, I was curious, because like you have so many figures and you put them together so well. And that's the thing. People are like, man, Funko Pops, you can put in all these situations and like all these different things and stuff. But you put them in these situations, they have relativity, like to what's going on. Like, my goodness, the photo you took the photo you took the other day, Black Widow and Lady Pool.
Yeah. I
And
know
and for
know people were gonna get say like that's a cold move, but I was like, dude, it's just asking for it.
so
Nobody
good.
was talking about it, and the moment I did it, people were like, some people that didn't know, they were like, I don't get it.
Yes.
It's like it should have been switched, but I'm like, yeah, y'all don't know what happened.
So would you like me to explain, or do you want to explain what it was, what the photo was of, why it was that, and all that stuff?
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. The photo I did is mainly based off the infamous meme of a guy walking with his supposedly his girlfriend or his wife or significant other, and another girl. I'm assuming to him looks a lot more attractive. He turns around and gives like a whole dang kind of look, while his significant other looks upset. I replayed that and did it with the Deadpool, who is Ryan Reynolds, and I used Black Widow, which is Scarlett Johansson, and then I used Lady Deadpool, which was voiced by Blake Lively. And if people know, obviously they had a lot of drama, and obviously Ryan Reynolds fell in love with Blake Lively on the set of Green Lantern and ended up being with Blake Lively instead, and ended things with Scarlett Johansson. So hence why I did the meme, because it's like it makes so much sense, and they're all in the MCU now. So I mean, it had to be done at some point. So I took the risk, and honestly, I was pretty satisfied with it.
Took the risk for content creation, but also had to do it for the lols and the memes. I was blown away. Blaine, I'll have to show you a picture later, and we'll definitely be putting it up on the screen. When you're talking about it and your situations and everything.
Yeah,
Because it was perfectly executed at the perfect time. Blake Lively was under a bunch of stuff for her movie, and all that drama, fun stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Great content creation at the perfect time. Honestly, well done. Yeah. So what's the being a photographer, a content creator now, with these figures, what's the longest it's taken you for a photo session, or how long do your photo sessions usually take to, put all the work and effort, posing, camera work, editing, like all that stuff, man? Like you go crazy with it.
So thank you for calling me a photographer. I still don't think I am a photographer. I try to tell myself I'm still an amateur because I still have a long ways to go. But I really do appreciate you telling me that. It means a lot. But for my average that I do my photos, because I rarely post like one photo whenever I'm doing my stuff. I try to do multiple pictures because I try to make the most out of every post I do. So at average, I'm posting about maybe 3 to 7 photos in one post, and those usually run me about photo wise and posing. It usually takes me about 2 to 3 hours of what I'm doing, and then editing. It's another maybe like 2 hours because sometimes I'm not satisfied, so I have to go back to the square one, and then redo everything again. So in total, I'm probably spending about like 5 to 6 hours a day, depending on when I'm posting it. And if I'm in the flow of it, I can hash out like I could dish out like a good few days post so I could like relax a little. But I'm spending a good amount of time on this, and honestly, I try to do maximum effort, so it's always worth my time.
I want to touch on something that a lot of my content creator friends have dealt with that you just brought up too. You're working on a project, you get to the end, and you're like, I'm done. I hate it. I got to go back to the drawing board. Kind of like you just mentioned, like, you got to go back and tweak it a little bit once you're done. And
Hmm.
that's, I think, a feeling that anybody who does content creation can relate to 100%. That, a lot of people don't realize is kind of part of it. So we're usually our own harshest critics.
It is, and honestly, like I would give it, if I had to give advice right now to anybody that's doing content creating, like, don't give up. Even though it's trash, you think it's trash, or you think it's like not your best work, don't give up. Just start over. You still have a long life. Just take your time, man. Take your time.
Dude, I used to be a fan of like all your like toys and everything, and they were just static toys. And now that you're putting so much effort and work and posing and accessories and all this stuff like into it so much more, it's like you never thought you would get to this level, and like this level is just so incredible, like in what you're doing and putting out, dude. Like truly. So you see that time, that effort, that go back, absolutely. You see it in your work, and I just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to do my best, man.
No, yeah.
Trying to do my best.
So going off of, you put 5 to 6 hours into this sometimes,
Mhm.
you work a 9 to 5 job too, don't you? Like, how do you afford these things?
Yeah, I work a 9 to 5. I'm just your average Joe. I still have to clock in and clock out, and then once I'm home, I start my 5 to 9, which is this. And yeah, like I could say I am in a good place living in California. Aside from that, I'm pretty satisfied where I'm at, but I do manage my expenses still, and I try to budget pretty well. And if I make money off of any sort of content I get, I just put it back into to all of my stuff just to keep it going.
Awesome. Yeah. No, that's freaking amazing, man. Absolutely. Let me see what else.
Are we allowed to ask what kind of stuff do you do for your day job? I always like to kind of ask
Okay.
the secret life of the content creators and all that, kind of what you do. Obviously, don't tell
Yeah,
us like your company or anything, but just roughly like kind of what industry you're in, what kind of stuff you do.
yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I will just say I work in law. That's all I'll say.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Absolutely. Wow, law. Good for you. You went to school for it and everything then?
I did not. I did not.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool.
Although
No,
I do
so
see you're missing the W from your hat.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm dead.
Yeah, right. All my bad jokes are the ones you laugh at the most.
Damn
No,
it.
those are the best ones, though. Dude, that's a good
Sorry.
one. No, that's good. Yeah, dude. If you had to say it, you had to say it.
Yeah. So like everybody complains about spending so much money on, like these figures, I'm sure all the time as a content creator. It's like back when you first started collecting Funko Pops, you were spending $300 on, 30 pops because you were buying 30 pops, within that same amount of time that these figures are coming out too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I reached a point when I was collecting pops. I was like, well, I'm gonna spend the same amount. It's just more upfront. So it's like it doesn't really. Yeah, sometimes like there will come a time where usually it's during the winter time where multiple figures come out because of like the holidays. That's where it hurts. But throughout the year, like man, like we're spending the same amount when I was buying pops, so I don't really see the difference in it.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So, speaking of, what is the turnaround time usually for hot toys for people that don't know?
Yeah, so the turnaround rate, they usually say a year. Obviously, it might be like a few months more than a year, but for the most part, it's average, it's a year they try to do. Usually, if it's a figure that has a helmet, say like the Mandalorian, because he barely takes off his helmet, so stuff like that, or a Stormtrooper, their turnaround is usually on point or sooner. But if it's certain characters like Tom Holland, Spider-Man with their new head sculpt, they're doing, or an Iron Man figure, those will take a bit longer because they try their best to perfect the head sculpt and they don't want to just push something out right away. So the wait is pretty long, but sometimes sometimes but all the time when you get them in, they're pretty worth the wait.
So, are you a pre-order guy or in stock now guy then?
I learned my lesson, and in today's world of how things are going now, especially everything's so limited now, I ended up becoming like a pre-order kind of guy. So that's how I am. I don't really. wait for things to get in stock anymore, because once it's in stock, it's gone. There's nowhere to find like a good one at a reasonable price to right off the bat.
Being so highly like collectible of these things and how high end they are and stuff, are they really limited, some of them?
It's really random. Sometimes they would just make like a plethora of them, and then sometimes if people are sleeping on a certain figure, like a random one was Crosshair from the Bad Batch. People were into the Bad Batch and they were collecting them, but some people were just waiting for them to get in stock. And I guess Crosshair was just a very unfortunate of the one to get like a short production span and cut short, and then they closed the pre-orders, and out of nowhere he became so high in demand, and now people are struggling to find a Crosshair because he's like, I think like almost like $1,000 just to find him at brand new, sealed, never opened. So nowadays it's very limited. So sometimes it's limited, sometimes they'll do a lot, but for the most part that's how it is now. It's you just have to actually have to buy what you love and like pre-order it now, then wait till the last minute.
And they don't remake these, they don't do another run of these a lot of times either, right?
Once they announce them and they release them, that's done. But I will say, like, in today's world too, because they're 2.0ing and re-releasing another variant, like it's highly likely like they're gonna re-release another one. So I don't really stress too much on people like, oh, you should buy it now, or if you miss out, just wait, just move on to the next release. Like that's how I tell most people too now.
So how far in advance are you pre-ordering a lot of these? Like how many months? Are we talking like 2, 3? Are we talking 6?
If I really love the figure, I'll do day one. So I'll do day one that it goes up for pre-order. If not, I look at my list of things that I have paid off already, and then I pre-order certain figures that are on my list.
Yeah.
So like, I think I recently pre-ordered some of the Soka figures from that line. So, but that was only because I paid off other things, and now I finally managed to pre-order those.
Now, are there any lines in with Hot Toys you just don't care about? Are there any franchises you're just like, whatever? Or is it pretty much just anything and anything possibly?
I think it's the video game line. I mean, I have like all the Spider-Man ones, but for the most part, like the video games, like I don't really like mess with them too much. They look good, but then I noticed that they're raising the prices on them, and it doesn't really come with like a sculpt of like certain actors. And it's kind of interesting transition to from video game to figure form.
Yeah, no, that makes sense though. What's the most you spent on a Hot Toys figure?
Recently, the most I spent was $600, and it was on the Hulk from Age of Ultron, only because it was the deluxe, so it has like a different torso piece, and it's a lot older. So Age of Ultron, I think that's like what, like early 2010s, right? Or yeah, like around there. So it's an older figure, so I had to pay the price for it, and I didn't want to wait for Hulk anymore because I mean I'm not gonna be collecting these forever, so I just said screw it, I'll pay for it.
Very cool. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, no, that's a neat figure. It's very big, like you said. It's that whole deluxe thing and such.
How often do they have releases? Is it like every few months, or is it every couple weeks, or like how a new batch come out? Sorry.
Announcements, you try to do like at least like 2 to 3, like sometimes 3, but most of the time like 1 to 2 announcements a week for announcements of like new figures they're gonna make. Releases wise, like towards end of the year, they're gonna like release a lot of figures like left and right. I've seen at the most maybe like 6 in like a couple weeks. But if it's like right now or like summertime, they usually do like 1 to 2 figures like every few weeks, depending on if they're able to push a lot of figures out. But it's the winter time where they push like a lot out.
Yeah, it's kind of. I always like to hear that because like I come from a trading card background. So what usually happens is your wallet gets 2 months to recover, and then you get slammed with a new set, and you're back to broke. Then you get 2 months of breathing room. Whereas with a lot of other companies, like Hot Toys, now I'm learning, has kind of a little bit of like 2 weeks boom, 2 weeks boom, 2 weeks boom kind of stuff, where it's a little more consistent. You don't get the kind of breathing room, but it's probably less overall compared to some of the Magic card prices that we have these days.
They're pretty consistent with their releases because the more they announce, the more you start to realize like, well, they got to clear the board. They can't just keep announcing figures they're gonna make and not like release like all these other figures that they already announced, and they're already like 100 figures deep. Like they need to start clearing that up.
Like another company that we won't name.
I'll say, be careful, man. You never know if somebody's gonna be watching it. They hear that and they're like, "Hold
No.
my beer."
So, taking your photos, and doing your videos and stuff, you do it all in like an in-home studio. Is that correct?
Yes, I actually just converted like an old room into like a full-on studio now. So what you see behind me is all mine. I never have to set it up, but I will say for like almost 3 years I was using a dining table. So I always had to set that up, and then after all my shooting and editing, I gotta take it back down and then repeat. It's satisfying to finally have like a studio. I don't have to like worry about cleaning all this up.
That's killer, man. I'm sure it's the same with your display. Once you have that display and you're like, this is it, we're good. Even though it's always changing, I'm sure in a sense, because you're getting new stuff and whatnot. But yeah, like it's probably just a great feeling. You're like, I don't have to deal with this anymore. And that helps you in your content creation, in your time, in your life to be like, okay, well, this doesn't, this is in one spot. We're good.
No, yeah, like yeah, I was like that with my display. Like I finally set it up, put all my figures in, toss the boxes, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. Like I'm happy.
I hear
And
you.
then now that you have kind of a more permanent display, what's the like? How do you have it set up? Do you have how many lights do you have? What kind of like camera do you use? If you want to just kind of give us the idea of how your blueprint of how you set up your room, like what's the ideal situation for you?
For photos or for just like my collection.
Oh, like for doing your photos of your stuff, like for
Yeah,
your.
so my display behind me is just it's just a paper backdrop. I got it from a local camera shop, and I just used about I think 4 or 5 different lights, which is just an overview right above and on the sides. But the main setup reason why I have this is because I had another friend. He was just telling me about how like he loved the first time I did it, which was with the R2D2 and Ahsoka figure, and he was like, dude, your photo looks like a straight up JC Penney photo shoot. And that from there, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with this. So I just been doing that the whole time. I liked it because it's just simple and easy, and it just attracts your eyes to the middle of the subject. And that's the whole point of like a JC Penney's like photo shoot. It was just like a regular background, you in the middle with your family, and that's it at a department store.
Yeah, as long as you don't have the ones from like elementary school where you had like either like an autumn scene with leaves behind you or like the lasers, that the
I'm
cool kids had.
I thought about that. Like I'll put the X on the ground. Hey, can you slightly turn? Can you do it
I could see
again?
some of them pulling off the laser background, like maybe Deadpool Wolverine or something.
I mean, you
That's
never know. I always take stuff like that into like consideration. Like I always think of anything that people say. I'm like, you know what? That's not bad. Maybe I'll
yeah.
do it.
You
That's
listen to the internet in a sense sometimes, for sure. Now, do these hot toys ever get a breath of fresh air?
in what sense?
Do they ever go outside? Do you ever, take any shoots, away from your studio?
Yeah, so I do it usually during the summertime because it's not cloudy. I still do at times I shoot outdoors because I like to use natural sunlight for some of my photos, and I have done it in the past. I haven't done it in a while, but I do take them out. And yes, the sun is damaging them, but I don't care. It's my figure. I have fun with it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, fun with it. Absolutely. Uh, Damn, I keep saying absolutely. I need to stop saying that. I say it way
No,
too
you're
much.
good, dude.
When I
You're
interview people
good.
like you, like for my content now, I'm just like, stop saying I'm. Damn it, it's become part of my vocabulary too much. Yeah. So displaying your figures, excuse me. Let me try again. Displaying your figures, you change it up. I'm sure pretty often taking it, in and out of your displays and your cases and stuff. How do you like keep it clean?
That no, that's actually a good question because I actually really highly recommend this company. I know they might be kind of out of people's budget, but I know people are kind of tired of seeing like dust in their collection. But I use Maju Space containers. There are like a titanium frame display case with plexiglass all around, and they're sealed by magnets, and it reduces the dust intake. And the obviously dust is still gonna get inside, but for the most part, ever since I had these display, and I put my fingers in it, I barely see any dust. There was dust at times, but I mean, it's a lot easier to clean compared to like if you have it out in the open and then there's like a layer of dust already within a week. But these, I could say like a good month or two, you could just leave it in there and it's gonna be like pretty secured. So that's how I've been displaying my figures, and I really recommend people that like that are because of us. I know people don't like to clean. I know, but they're really good. They're really worth it.
Got it. That's cool. No, that's awesome. To share your love, your understanding of cleanliness to other collectors and everything. That's, that's awesome.
Always have to have it in reach.
That too. I mean, that works too.
That's funny. And meanwhile, I'm over here like, when's the last time I dusted this?
That's why you got all your guys unboxed, stacked up. You can't tell.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's
They're all
what it
hiding
is.
each other.
We'll go with that.
So with your name being Zord Photography, did you start off doing Megazord stuff and Power Ranger stuff?
No, Zord in general, because I used my original username was Funko.Zord. And it was only because I had a Funko Pop that was a Zord, a Megazord, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go with Funko.Zord because it's like it sounds cool, it sounds catchy. But after a while, once I actually started doing more photography and then more content across the board, I realized that Zord means to combine. And I like to combine every form of content and kind of figure collecting. I don't just collect one thing overall, but yeah, like that's why I like the name Zord because I just try to combine every sort of aspect of the toy community. Doesn't matter what you collect, I try to push it overall. But obviously, it's mainly hot toys, but still.
That's very sick. No, I love that you did that. That's cool. I didn't know that word meant that, but to hear that is really, really neat. Now, are there any, speaking of photographers, are there any that you look up to, or you have like a list of people that you want to like recommend to, the listeners?
Yeah, a good few people I recommend, like I loved watching was I used to love seeing posts from I forgot he was like a Funko creator. It's like I think it was Brian something. Man, I forgot. But he
Brian Ruff.
always is it him the one that builds like all of his dioramas like from
Yes.
scratch? There you
Yes.
go. So sorry for butchering his name, but him like he got me into like wanting to do photography too. And my friend too, who was heavily in photography, he taught me everything too. But those kind of creators, like I love looking up to because like you don't know what's going on in their head, and that got me going, and I loved what they're doing. And then from there, once I started seeing more like 1/6 and 1/12, I was really happy seeing photos from like CJ Rocks, who does photography for Hot Toys. I love his work, and I want to. He was also really good with his photography too. And there's a lot of other great photographers I look up to. I don't copy their stuff, but they're when I see their stuff, it makes me want to make content because it's like if they're creating, I should be creating too, kind of thing.
Think
Like I always just saw his stuff. I was like, dude, this guy's crazy. Like he's putting in
Blaine,
work,
he
man.
was nuts, dude. Like all of his displays, all of his photos and everything he makes on his own
That's pretty cool.
completely. Yeah, like
But I'm
all of his
surprised like
photos.
Funko never
Yes,
picked them up. That's why I was like, bro, like y'all are sleeping on people, man.
true.
That,
What is your favorite character in like one of these franchises?
if it has to be Marvel, it's Spider-Man, hands down. It will always be Spider-Man. No matter if it's like, yeah, Wolverine second, but it's always Spider-Man because, like Stanley said, anybody could wear the mask.
There you go. All right, like Stanley said, quote, beautiful. So, with your Deadpool and Wolverine, your Spider-Mans, all this stuff, there's so many different accessories to that. But I see you're creating your own accessories.
Yes, I'm assuming you saw my Spider-Man tendrils that I recently made. I try my best to, if I can make it without spending a lot of money, I'll do it. So I still try to do how I used to do it when I used to do Funko photography. I try to think, how can I make this without spending a lot of money on it. That's what I've been doing recently. But I also like to support other local artists that do send me stuff, like the Deadpool stuff. I would recommend doing that. But there's also ways you could do it yourself. I recommend to people just walk around Walmart or Dollar Tree because you never know, you could find something that could, you know, spice it up and just, you know, you could use it for your photography. because I know people. There's always people looking at things, random things, and you just never know what it could be used for.
Gotcha. So use your creativity to its fullest extent.
Exactly. Like for instance, when before I got the actual like crazier Deadpool Wolverine claws, I did my own and I just used rubber bands and like paper clips. That's all it was. And I remember when I did it, people were asking, "Are you gonna sell that? Are you gonna make that?" I was like, "No," because literally I just used a rubber band and paper clips. I'm not gonna sell people straight up like a rubber band.
Rubber band and paper clips, $50. Get them now.
No.
Limited
Talking
to
about TikTok
20.
shop.
Yeah,
Yeah, TikTok shop. Put that on there.
man, that's
Put on.
crazy though. You help, the collective, the community, and you've been there before, you understand. So to help people out rather than trying to, make a quick buck, that's great, and that shows compassion and passion for your collection and the collectors that are around you. So that's great.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add that in because when I started doing photography or just anything in general in the community, I got a lot of people that don't want to help each other, and it's kind of weird. So I can't deny I have a good following. I never wanted to gatekeep any of my information. I always share whatever I did, whatever I made, how I made it, and I share it because I don't care. We should all be growing as a community, and I see people like just hiding things, gatekeeping it. It doesn't do any justice. If you want the community to grow, you got to let people know what you're doing and let them give it a try. It won't be the same, but I mean, at least you give them the tools to try and do it themselves. And that's what I would try to do for other people, not just photographers, but also like just the average collector.
Wise words from Pat.
I have just
Lane?
one last thing, and then we'll be done.
All right,
All
awesome.
right.
All right, so I put together a little bit of a lightning round for you.
Okay, I'm
So,
down.
okay. Of the movies, I got about 7 questions here. You just got to tell me whichever one is your best or favorite, all right?
All right, I'm with it.
Of the movie suits, best Batman suit,
Robert Pattinson,
best Spider-Man suit,
Tobey Maguire,
best Superman suit.
Henry Cavill,
Good choice, good choice. Favorite Jedi,
Ahsoka,
favorite Star Wars villain,
Darth Maul,
best Marvel villain.
Ultron, underrated as hell.
And because you mentioned Spider-Man, of all the alternate versions of Spider-Man we have seen, who's your favorite?
Whew. Tobey Maguire.
And there you
Hands
go.
down. Hands down, Tobey Maguire.
I guess his suit was pretty lit. I mean, I saw it back when that was the first Spider-Man movie back in 2002. So that was a pretty earth-shattering day for me and my friends. So.
I mean, I was there, man. So hyped. I was like, dude, it's Spider-Man in live action. I could beat him. That's all I thought. That's all that goes through my head.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So you guys heard it right here. Tobey Maguire is the greatest. He's the GOAT. And if you have any arguments, take it up with Pat. So with that being said, guys, Patrick, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking some time and telling us all about your passion projects, everything that means the world to you, and all your collectibles. It was great having you here.
Thank you as well, guys. I had so much fun being here. Thank you again.
absolutely. And where can you find you on your socials?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and it's just the same handle across the board, zord.photography.
And soon to be collectibles.
And soon collectibles as well.
All right, man.
So
Sounds
there we
good.
go, guys. Make sure you go check out all of Patrick's work. Again, that's zord.photography pretty much everywhere. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss any of our content. And if you guys are listening to us over on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts, go ahead, give us a like and follow on there too to make sure that you never miss any of our episodes. But that being said, guys, we're pretty much all done for today's episode. This has been Collectibles.com Unscripted. Thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Blaine. Ryan with us, and super thank you to Patrick for being here as well. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you around.
Bye.